Hello, it's time for another rant video, and why do I have to rant? Well, why are you noticing more rants? It's because I have not seen a therapist now in such a long time, and, you know, it's going to come out because I just don't have anyone to talk, I don't have many people to talk to about what I'm going through, and recently, I want to let you know, talk about a couple of things in this video, but before I talk about the latest development in regards to the whole thing with having no train service at Mineola for this Saturday and then the next Saturday, another Saturday this month. I want to talk about this. I was sitting there a couple of days ago, and obviously I wasn't going to do this rant yesterday because it was September 11th. Out of respect, I wasn't going to do that. But today, I mean the other day, News 12 aired a story about these snobby people from the South Shore, these mothers that are upset about the laws requiring their kids to be vaccinated. And I wasn't even gonna talk about it, but one of them is holding up a sign that says segregation is discrimination. Yeah, segregation is discrimination. These people are one to talk. They're upset because their kids aren't going to be allowed into school because they're refusing to have their kids vaccinated. Now, as we know, vaccinations have brought tremendous progress in public health, but these people think that they're so lily white and pure that they don't need it to be vaccinated. You can't make this stuff up. So they're saying segregation is discrimination. Yet these people are the same exact people who deny people like me housing in those South Shore neighborhoods. These are the exact same people. They are one to talk when they won't even allow housing for us down there. They won't even allow it. So I'm just going to play a little clip from the story for you, just so you can hear their voices, because these people are so snobby, so stuck up. One of them is from Amityville, another one's from North Belmore, really Belmore. Just take a listen.
Show me the science that says that unvaccinated children spread more disease than any other person.
Amityville's Emily Persino says one day after the state legislature voted to get rid of all religious exemptions, she quit her job so she could homeschool her 5-year-old son Charles. He was supposed to start kindergarten.
What's the purpose of life if I can't live free? What's the purpose of having children if I can't do the right thing for them? No one knows my son better than me.
All right, hold up. What's the purpose of life if I can't live free? She has the luxury, I guess because she has so much money, to take off from work and homeschool her kid. Well, that's great. That's great. What about all the other people who really aren't free in their own communities? So here's the other one from North Belmore. Listen to this one.
North Belmore's Francine Shafiq argues the state acted abruptly and arbitrarily by removing religious exemptions.
I think that we need to be given a fair trial. I think that voices need to be heard. There needs to be a public hearing. None of that was afforded to us.
Oh, they just did it without a public hearing. I can't even imitate these. The annoying Valley Girl voice that these women have is just unbelievable. You know, they think that it's the worst thing in the world to require somebody to be vaccinated. This is how we stop disease, because people are vaccinated. If people aren't vaccinated, disease is going to spread. But these people think that they're above the law, that they can just do what they want, and they are so upset about this. I mean, and it gets media coverage. It gets media coverage. That's what's really ridiculous about it. No hearing. What about us here in Mineola? We have no train service, no substitute buses. What about all the bums being dumped in our town? You know, what about that? We don't get a hearing. We don't get anything. What about when they cut the service? People are stranded. We don't get a hearing. Where's our voice? We get ignored because we're not part of a certain demographic. But these women and their lily white, preppy little finance professional enclaves are out there all panties tied up because they are upset because they have to vaccinate their kids. How horrible. This is why we are wiping out diseases. But now the diseases are coming back because people aren't vaccinating their kids. All right? I know it's a little off topic, but it's representative of the kind of crap we're dealing with right now. All right? So now I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the trains. All right? And with what I've got to deal with in my ever-declining town of Mineola, because guess what, folks? It's starting to become Westbury. Guess what I'm starting to have to see and deal with now? Take a guess. Take a guess. I'm not going to say the word. Take a guess. No, I will say the word. Illegals. All right? They're hanging out, staring at nothing, hanging out on the streets, along with all the vagrants, of course. That's what I have to deal with. And these people say segregation is discrimination. Right. Right. What about people like me being segregated into communities that are suffering instead of being allowed to live in thriving communities? What about that, ladies? What about that? What about people with mental illness who've had mental illness their whole life and psychological issues their whole life, not allowing them to live in places that would benefit their lives? Places that have trains that run, like on the Babylon line, that get the best service, that get the thriving towns, that don't have to deal with looking over their shoulder for bums and illegals. What about that? You know, but no, these people are such hypocrites. They are such hypocrites, and they need to be called out. I am tired of it being all about them. It's always all about them. You know, it's always about them. Forget about us in the middle of the island. Forget about the vagrants. Forget about the empty stores. Forget about all the stuff that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. These snobs have their panties tied up in knots because they've got to freaking vaccinate their kids. Well, it's too damn bad. It's the law. And they can afford to homeschool. That's good. That's great. Just homeschool your kids. That's it. Problem solved. You are free. You're free to not have to send your kid to school and homeschool him. That's what you're free to do. All right? Meanwhile, I'm not free. I have to deal with the constant problems in my town. I have to deal with being stuck here because I'm going to have no trains once again this Saturday. And I have to find my way around another way, either walk 2 miles to Garden City or take a nice bus, which may or may not show up. What about that? I don't have the freedom to get around because my transportation's been taken away. That's a lot more serious, but no, we'll just blow them off. And I don't have the freedom to live where I want either. No, I don't have the freedom for that either because you won't let me live with you. Because you think you're better than all of us. In your own little preppy, little stuck-up little enclave on the South Shore, living it up while we are dealing with the bums, we're dealing with the illegals, we're dealing with our train shut down, we're dealing with our stores closed, we're dealing with the trash in the environment. What about that? Told you this is going to be a rant. I had to let it out because I'm so frustrated about what's happening. And I don't even have a therapist to talk to because our lovely governor has cut funding for mental health, so the clinics are short therapists because so many have been laid off. And I'm not moving to New Jersey. I refuse to move to New Jersey. I've lived here 43 years here on Long Island. I don't intend on going anywhere, and I'm not going to let you and your little preppy little enclaves try to ruin it for the rest of us. So, the last part of this video, I will be talking about the situation with the Long Island Railroad. So, let's talk about the latest with the Long Island Railroad and the latest news I have in regards to this whole thing with the no shuttle buses in Mineola, because what's going on is I recently got contacted by the Phil Eng's office, believe it or not. Not Phil Eng himself, but I spoke with a gentleman by the name of Mr. Garcia, who called me because I had complained to Anna Kaplan's office about the fact that we're not getting shuttle buses in place of a service on the main line. Well, you know, when they shut the main line down, when they did the culvert bridge, when they've done all this third track project, they're not providing us with shuttle buses. And the latest saga in that is this Saturday and then another Saturday later this month, there will be no train service between Floral Park and Hicksville. No shuttle buses being provided. This is due to a switch replacement in New Hyde Park. The first thing right off the bat is I want to say that the reason why they're not running service to Mineola from the east is because they're doing other work that's east of Mineola. So, okay, I can understand that, but they still should be providing shuttle buses in lieu of service. And I explained to him, and he said, well, we're trying to be more innovative. Innovative. That's what his comment was, innovative. And I said, well, how is it being innovative, leaving people stranded? How are people supposed to get around between Hicksville? Like I told him, what about a lot of people travel east from Mineola? What are they supposed to do? Nice Bus doesn't always run that late at night. It's not reliable. It doesn't show up, and people might miss their train at Hicksville. And I explained, you're supposed to be riding shuttle buses in lieu of service. How come you're doing it on the Long Beach line? How come you're doing it on the Long Beach line? And at first there was silence, and then he said, well, Long Beach is kind of far away from, any other train line. What about Westbury and Carr Place when they need service? Where are they supposed to go? Garden City is not exactly that close either. And then I said, you know what, this is plain out discrimination. I told him, I think we are definitely being discriminated against. There's definitely favoritism going on. And I told him I filed Title VI complaint. And I explained to him, nice buses don't run that late at night. They don't run that late, and they're not even cross-honoring, so people who have to travel from Mineola to go out east have to pay for the bus and freaking pay again for the train. Because they're not cross-honoring on the 22 and the 24. They're only cross-honoring on the 40 and 41, and only the Hempstead. Not even the Garden City. Not even the Freeport. It's ridiculous. I said, you know what, you are deliberately conditioning people to go to the South Shore. Because this is what it's all about. They want to ruin the middle of the island, turn it into industrial wasteland, not providing shuttle buses while the Long Beach branch gets shuttle buses. And I accused them of this. I mentioned the discrimination thing to him 3 times. And did he deny it? He didn't say anything. Which to me admits guilt, that they are actually discriminating. They've been caught with their pants down. All right, and they think they can continue to get away with it. I explained all my concerns to him about, there needs to be shuttle buses. You should run the shuttle buses. The MTA has hundreds of shuttle buses that sit idle on the weekends. You run them as a bus bridge between Floral Park and Hicksville. And that really makes a lot more sense than having everybody go to the South Shore, running all these extra trains. You should have a bus bridge. It's not that complicated. It's really not. It's been done in the past. Why not now? Why not now? I remember when they've also shut down the Hempstead line in the past and had buses. Now they don't even do that for the Hempstead liner because they only care about the South Shore. That's it. Middle of the island does not count to them. It feels like we're being left for dead. So whatever, he said, I'm going to take these concerns to the president, Phil Egg. We'll see if anything happens. But I told him, I said, there's a good likelihood I'm going to be going to committee meetings. There's a good likelihood that I'm going to be fighting for shuttle buses until we get shuttle buses. I'm not giving up on this because we have a right to have shuttle buses in lieu of service. The Long Island Railroad is violating their own code of own pledge by not providing shuttle buses. So then later on Monday, I get a call from Anna Kaplan's office, and I speak with another woman, explaining. She asked me, "Well, what was the result of that? Did they satisfy you?" And I'm like, "No, not until we get shuttle buses. Am I going to be satisfied?" And I explained everything I explained to her, and then I also explained about the vagrancy. The fact that we don't have MTA police, yet the South Shore in Babylon gets MTA police at their stations. And just today, there was a vagrant in Hicksville. The police were there. It was Nassau County Police. Nassau County Police were responding to the train station because MTA police apparently don't even believe it and respond to the main line. The main line, it feels like the main line is being left. It's like the main line is in the middle of the woods somewhere and doesn't count for anything. Nobody really cares. Oh, but they're doing the project. We're doing this project to improve service, says Mr. New Yorkers love me, Mr. Cuomo. But meanwhile, the service keeps getting worse, and you're not even providing shuttle buses. And you're not even getting the MTA police to get these vagrants off. It's obvious what's going on. They only care about the South Shore. And again, when I said we are being discriminated against to this woman from Anna Kaplan's office, did she deny it? No, there was silence at the other end, which means we are being discriminated against. We are being discriminated against because of the color of our skin, because of our income, because we're not the lily-white, politically connected, spoiled finance professional class on the South Shore. We are being discriminated against. That is happening. And it's obvious what's happening. That's why the Title VI complaints have been filed. I filed one with the MTA, as well as one with the Federal Transportation Administration, because I'm not taking no for an answer on this until we get our shuttle buses. That is our right. all right? And I can't stand by and let another town, it's already been enough, they've ruined Westbury, all right? I can't stand by and let another town, Mineola, be ruined. I can't stand by and let my life be turned upside down by this discrimination. And the last part of this video, I'm going to explain something to you, all right? Because the Pine Barrens are the most important thing in my life, all right? They are the most important thing in my life. To be able to be within about a 20 to 30 minute trip away from the Pine Barrens, no more than that. And we all know where the Pine Barrens are. We know that the Pine Barrens are in Suffolk County, and we know they're over here, you know, basically, all right? All right, we know they're over here in this area right here, and then they go a little more down to the South Shore over here, all right? I mean, the main line is an ideal place for me to be able to get to the Pine Barrens because, you know, I could take the train from Mineola, go to, you know, Pine Lawn or Deer Park, and get to the Pine Barrens there. I can take the train to Ronkonkoma and take Suffolk County Transit and get to the Pine Barrens that way. I could take the train to Smithtown or Port Jefferson and get to the Pine Barrens that way. All right, so I can get to the Pine Barrens from Mineola, but they take that away when they shut down the service, and that becomes a big problem. Some of my viewers just live along the Port Washington Branch. First of all, it's very expensive, and second of all, how am I going to get to the Pine Barrens? I'd have to go all the way back to Woodside to go back east. That would be so expensive and so time-consuming, and you certainly can't rely on a nice bus to get you down there. It just takes so much longer. That's too far. So the only other option is the Babylon branch. At least the Babylon branch, I can get a bus to the Deer Park from Babylon. I can get into the Pine Barrens, get into Oakdale. There's Pine Barrens and Connecticut State Park. I can go further out east, or go to Patchogue, catch a bus to the Pine Barrens there, or go into West Hampton, which is right in the middle of the dwarf Pine Barrens. So, you know, I have to get to the Pine Barrens. So the only options for me to live on Long Island are either along the main line, all right, Mineola, but Mineola's being ruined. I lived in Westbury. I had to flee for my life because they ruined Westbury. And now they want to ruin this whole stretch here. They want to ruin this whole stretch. They want to ruin this whole thing. All right? They want to ruin this whole thing. Hicksville's being ruined. Farmingdale might be good, but here's the thing. I was discriminated against at Farmingdale. I've been told when I was looking to move out of Westbury, they said, sorry, number of apartments, we're not going to rent to you. And then I contacted somebody from, I don't know what it was, I think it might have been Vision Long Island, who never got back to me on apartments in Farmingdale. So I gave up. And Farmingdale only has hourly train service anyway. All right, so really, we got to be on the Babylon branch. All right, that's the only other option, you know. But they won't let me live there. They won't let me live in any of these enclaves. All right. They won't let me live in any of these enclaves down here. You know, Rockville Center, Lynbrook. They're one to talk. Merrick, Belmore, Wantor, Seaford, Mass. They won't let me live there. Babylon, they won't let me live there. They only rent the finance professionals. They only rent. People don't believe me when I tell you that the landlords in those areas will do background checks to make sure you're of the kind of person they want. Doesn't matter whether you can pay the rent or not. They will discriminate against you. They want somebody who is working as a finance professional. Otherwise, they're not going to let you have the apartment. That's what they're doing. It's illegal, but they get away with it. And these people protesting know damn well that they are discriminating. They are such hypocrites. Right? Yeah, and there's Long Beach too, but again, Long Beach you'd have to go back up to Lynbrook, and again, it'd be a pain to go to the Pine Barrens. And again, this area is going underwater, so no. Absolutely not. All right? So this is why it's so important that we save the main line, because if the main line goes, I'm not allowed to live on the South Shore, and what am I going to do? I don't want to have to live in New Jersey. But I can't deal with the heat there. But what am I going to do? I have to be by the Pine Barrens. They're the love of my life. I have lived on Long Island my entire life, and I'm not going to deal with what I dealt with in Westbury again. And I'm going to be. People think I was ranting a lot back then when I lived in Westbury. Well, the reality is, if this town gets ruined, I'm going to be ranting so much. and I'm going to be getting lawyers. I'm going to be doing whatever I can because these people think, oh, sorry, you don't have a right to live with us on the South Shore. You're not one of us. Well, you know what? You're breaking the law because segregation is discrimination, and it is illegal, miss. It is illegal. All right? So if you think you can keep me out of your town, you have another thing coming. All right? You have another thing coming. I have every right to an apartment on the South Shore in one of those towns. If that's where I need to be, that's where I am going. And you or Mr. Wall Street or whoever is there isn't going to stand in my way because I sure as hell can't survive in Tom's River with the heat there. All right? How about you go to Tom's River and deal with the heat? I'd like to see these women deal with walking in the middle of the Pine Barrens desert in a 95-degree day with dew point 75 and deal with that. Let's see how tough they really are. So that does conclude this video. A lot of ranting, and I know I'm going to get downvotes and thumbs down because this is what this demographic does. They want to intimidate. They want to keep getting away with what they're getting away with. We are in the fight of our lives in the middle of the island here. Our environment is being trashed. Our train service is being shut down. Our neighborhoods are being flooded with bums and illegals, and nobody seems to care about us. The news media, the politicians, nobody cares about us. But you know what? I have to speak up. All right, and I urge more of you to speak up. This is how we can defeat Wall Street once and for all. We're a strength in numbers. We have to rise up and take back our island from this Wall Street corruption. And that concludes this video. Thank you for watching.